How did we do this year? I'm going to talk about how we did overall. I'm first going to go over how we did last year here in the 2021 season. Offense, statistically, this is yards per game, of course. 11th last season, 14th on defense. Problem with the offense last year was the running game. We basically didn't have one, non-existent. Couldn't score in the red zone. Third down conversions were not very good. Derek Carr had over 4,800 yards, but this year we didn't even get near that. The defense, kind of middle of the road. My big knock with them, we didn't generate any turnovers, and that really hurt us. The sacks were really good in the beginning and then really tailed off second half of the season. And the blitz percentage was pretty good. Gus Bradley never blitzes, and he kept to that, even though the front four were not getting to the quarterback in the second half of the season. We talked about that. So how did we do? Okay, let's compare. So these are the rankings based on the NFL in 2022, and we can look here. So offense, we ended up 12th from 11th. So what do we change in the offense? Of course, we got supposedly an offensive guru in Josh McDaniels. We got Devontae Adams, arguably the best wide receiver. And let's not forget, we had the rushing leader here in Josh Jacobs. The rushing did go up, passing regressed. Overall, I kind of attribute the offense a couple things. Of course, the play calling was kind of wacky. It got a little bit better later on. Then, like I said, the Niner game was great as far as play calling is concerned with Josh McDaniels. A lot of regression in that Chiefs game, though. Andy Reid just outcoached him. Third down conversions, a little bit better, not worth celebrating. And the red zone touchdowns, ridiculous again. Now, this is from supposedly an offensive guru. You could say, well, the offensive line was worse. Really wasn't. They actually got more sacked. They were sacked more times. The 2021 season was 40 versus 34 quarterback sack in 2022. I think the offensive line played better this season, and that's not saying much. It's not a high bar to cross. Remember Brandon Parker in 2021. So I think it's the play calling and a little bit of Derek Carr regression. Let's get to our favorite here, the defense. Now, if it's the top 5, I put it in green. If it's bottom 5, I put it in red. So you can see this 28th overall defense, 29th in passing, 19th in rushing, which is about what we did before. Points per game allowed, about the same. Turnovers, still shitty. We can't generate a turnover to save our lives. Couple things with this. First thing, passing. Corners had been an issue. Corners were a hole. I talked about that last offseason. Still nothing really happened with that. Traded Trayvon Mullen late in preseason. Not to say he's great, but probably with this lineup, probably one of the best, if not the best corner we had available at the time. And we got rid of him. Still a huge hole here. I don't know what they're doing. We brought in a guy, Patrick Graham, supposedly could solve things. Gus Bradley was so terrible. Defense actually took a lot of steps back. Let's see this. One thing, turnovers about the same, still shitty. Sacks, I want to talk about this. We went from getting 35 sacks last season to 27. We got Chandler Jones on that big contract. Absolute bust. Not only that, we're blitzing obviously a lot more than Gus Bradley did, so we're blitzing the quarterback more and getting less sacks. So I hope you're listening to Josh McDaniels. What are we going to do about Patrick Graham here? What are we going to do about this defense? The offense, little regression, but the defense was probably the biggest reason why we didn't win. That, and we generate first downs when we needed to. We generated much less passing first downs, and then once they started keying in on Josh Jacobs, that was it. They get the ball back. We blew so many leads. We had so many close games that we should have won and we didn't win. And again, this goes back to coaching, not only preparation of the players, but adjusting the game plan and modifying and changing based on what the opponent is doing. That did not happen this season for the most part. And the defense, again, was just awful. And then the biggest stat of all, of course, we had almost about half the wins we had last season. And remember, last season we had John Gruden. I was not a big fan of his coaching, and then the whole email thing, and then we had an interim coach, and then Henry Ruggs incident, then Arnett incident. That team was in turmoil the whole season, and it got together and it grouped together.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization. And you tell them one thing, just win, baby.